Over here, okay, today we are looking at this thing called communication skills. Okay, and not just any communication skills, we are looking at oral communication skills, okay, for today's holiday lesson. So,
In oral communication skills.
did you do well for your oral exam, Vincent?
I got 13 out of 16 for my oral.
Oh, very good. And how about Emmet? How did you do for your oral?
11 out of 16.
So I think the both of you did pretty well. Vincent did slightly better. Um, would it happen that the both of you are from the same school,
I'm in Hongwen
Hongwen Primary?
School.
Sorry, Emmett, you're from?
School primary school.
Ah, okay, so it's a different primary school, but that's fine. So there are some interesting tips I can give you today regarding oral and what you can say in order to impress the teacher so that you can score even better, right? So we're going to look at, 16 upon 16 if we can. Okay, that's the goal. All right. So remember, during the lesson, okay, keep your videos turned on as usual, but please keep yourself muted. Only respond if I talk to you. All right, if you want to answer any questions, use the chat group on Zoom to answer any questions. All right. Yes, so Vincent is talking about the trees method right now. Let's see whether we talk about that later or not. So let's start.
Do you know about the trees
So,
method?
so Emmett and Vincent, please keep yourself muted. Okay, thank you. I'm not really sure what the trees method is, Vincent. It's the first time I've heard of it, but I do know a few other methods that you can use. So maybe you can tell, do you know what the trees method is, Emmett? Don't know?
No.
Okay, Vincent, maybe you can tell us what's the trees method.
Okay, so the trees method is supposed to be think, respond,
Explain,
yeah, explain,
example,
an example.
and
What's that?
statement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so when we say thing is look at the thing, right? What does it mean to you? Have you seen it before? Have you experienced it before? Right? And then you respond to it by telling the teacher what you think about it, right? So that's your T and your R. What you think about the thing you're looking at. And then E is explaining why you think that way. And then the next A is an example. And then maybe the last one, S, is stating again how you feel about that thing. So let's say, for example, Emmett really hates cockroaches, by the way. So just an example, okay? So Emmett, if you look, your teacher shows you a picture of a cockroach. So the thing is the cockroach. So you will respond. You will say, oh, I really dislike cockroaches. And then you can explain. I think they are disgusting creatures because they hang out in the rubbish bin and they are really unhygienic. And they scare the living daylights out of me. Then you give an example. You say, there was once when I stepped out of my bathroom, a flying cockroach flew around me and landed on my back. I only had my towel around my waist and it felt super disgusting and I hated that feeling. And then last one, S statement. Therefore, I really dislike cockroaches. So that's the trees method. Yes, Vincent.
Oops. Oops. Speaking
Huh?
of cockroaches, right? Actually, today it happened to me.
It happened to you? Oh my goodness, what happened?
So I was walking into the class, then all the girls started screaming, cockroach. Then the moment I turned back, it landed on my face.
Huh? A cockroach landed on your face?
Yeah, the moment I turned, then it landed on my face.
Oh, that's disgusting. And how did you feel?
That the legs are very sharp. I guess
It's
like,
very sharp.
yeah, a little bit.
Like
And
its legs feel a bit sharp.
yeah,
And what did you do after it landed on your face?
hold it with my hand, go
Uh-huh.
down to the school garden and throw it in the school garden.
Oh, you actually caught the cockroach with your bare hands? Wow, you are a very brave boy. I wouldn't dare to do that because I find that they are really dirty. Ew. Okay.
So, so
Mm.
after that,
Yes, definitely wash your hands and your face. Did you wash your face after that? Okay, yeah, you had to. Good job, Vincent. So yeah, so I think that's what the trees method is. I think it's a really useful method. I have never heard of it before, but yeah, it's around the same thing as what I'm going to actually talk about today. Okay, so before we go into those methods, right, for conversation, that's the second part of your oral. The first part of it is reading aloud. Okay, reading aloud is when you read a story and then your teacher sees whether you are reading something accurately or not, whether you have a good intonation, whether you have a good pace to your reading, whether you're reading too quickly or you're reading too slowly, that kind of thing. So that's your reading aloud part. So what do the both of you think? Do you know what is required of you in the reading aloud section? How must you perform to do well? Yes, Emmett. Emmett, you need to unmute yourself.
you need expression.
Expression meaning what?
Like if there's like a happy like dialogue, then
Mhm.
the tone must be like happy.
Okay, so very good. So your tone, so I think what you meant was your tonality needs to change according to the text that you're reading. If there's dialogue, you need to change your tonality. If there is a very shocking fact that suddenly comes up, you need to change your tonality as well. Good. How about Vincent?
How you when how you act. Because if you talk too fast or talk in a Singlish way, it shows that you are not prepared.
Mm, okay. So I think what you mean is we need to prepare. So I think you covered a few things. So we need to prepare to speak proper English. So no Singlish, right? So you are absolutely correct for that. And I think you also mean that we need to have, all right, a good speed as we read. So what you said was not too slow and not too fast. Very good. And both of these are definitely correct. What Emmett said was correct as well. And Emmett, what else? Could you give me one more? For reading aloud, what must we keep in mind?
If there is a full stop or comma, you
Mm,
pause for a while.
good. Very good. So we need to pause at the punctuation mark appropriately. Okay. So for different punctuation marks, right, we pause for different amounts of time. Yeah. So let's look at the longest pause. And then let's draw a chart, okay? The longest pause will be there. This is the longest pause. All the way to here. Maybe this will be the shortest pause, but you still have to pause. So, do you all know what the longest pause is for English? Yes, Vincent.
Full stop.
That is incorrect.
What?
Emmett? I can't hear you. You need to unmute yourself.
Question mark.
Incorrect as well. But both of you are pretty close. The longest pause is when you have dot, dot, dot.
What?
Okay,
I
that's
never see that. Any
three
conversation.
dots.
That is actually a conversation.
Yeah, so 3 dots, right? 3 dots is actually called an ellipsis.
I never done that before.
So when you go to P5, you will see some of this. This is actually the longest pause. That's 3 dots. And then after that, you have your full stop, exclamation mark, and your question mark. So these are actually called sentence enders. Okay? And then after that, okay, we have something that is requires you to pause as well, but not as much. Okay? I'm not sure whether you've seen this before. There's a dot on top and then there's a comma below. Right? This is called a semicolon. Okay? And also a colon. Right? A colon or semicolon. That will be the second longest. The second shortest. And actually, the shortest pause is actually, sorry, I think I should draw it over here as a comma.
I think pretty much everyone know the shortest pause.
Okay. And then you might actually be surprised to know that this continues a little bit more over here. And this is no need to pause at all.
Question
Okay.
mark?
No need to pause would be your open inverted commas,
Oh.
your closed inverted commas, and your apostrophes. Yeah, you don't need to pause for those at all. Okay? So that's some extra information for you about punctuation marks. Okay? So let me add some points for your contributions, boys. So over here, Emmett shared with us that when we are doing our reading aloud, our tonality needs to change according to the text, especially when it comes to dialogue. We need to imagine ourselves like we are the character and then we speak like the characters. Okay, that's good. 4 points to Emmett. And Emmett also shared with us that we need to pause at the punctuation marks appropriately. Okay, and that's 4 points. That's absolutely correct. And we also talked about the longest pause. The longest pause would be your ellipsis, and then the shortest pause is your comma. Okay, of course, this is not talking about no pause at all. No pause at all. That you don't even need to think about pausing. So yeah. And then Vincent also shared with us. Vincent said we need to prepare to speak proper English. We cannot speak Singlish during our reading aloud. In fact, it's not just reading aloud. During our conversation with our teacher, we're not allowed to speak Singlish as well. Okay, so that's absolutely correct. 4 points to Vincent. And Vincent also shared with us that we need to have a good reading speed as we read. Shouldn't be too fast, shouldn't be